Yo guys, what is going on? I got an UlforceVeedramon deck profile for you guys today. I played this in Digibros' local weekly locals just the other day, and if you aren't signed up for that, like if you guys ever want to participate in a webcam tournament, I'll have the links down in the description. You guys should definitely check out Digibros. They are super awesome. I love their content, so go check them out if you're interested. But yeah guys, so I was playing this in what, 20-something person tournament, and I managed to get second place with UlforceVeedramon. So kind of a sleeper deck, honestly. Not too many people give it credit, but I was able to do relatively well against some meta decks. I played against Ceresmon, played against Omni-Red, some of the best decks in the format, and I was able to hold my own. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off with the levels 3s, I am playing 4 copies of the promo Gomamon. Now this might seem like a weird choice for a lot of people, because this isn't really standard in Ulforce. So what this guy does is he has this inherited effect where once per turn, if you trash a Digivolution card on one of your opponent's Digimon, you get to gain 1 memory. So gaining memory is always super nice, and this will come into play with some of the other cards I'm playing. But yeah, this is a little bit of an unconventional list, but because you are swinging so many times with UlforceVeedramon, there are plenty of ways to proc this guy's effect. And then on top of that, I'm also playing 4 copies of Gabumon. This is the BT1 Gabumon, where you get to draw 1 card whenever he's played. So just a good card to play onto the field, and helps you get bodies on the field and just cycles through your deck. You're really trying to dig deep into your deck for your Ulforce and your Tamers as quickly as possible, because the unfortunate thing about this deck is that you're only playing 4 copies of Ulforce, and of course you need to get them as quickly as possible. I'm also playing 2 copies of the starter deck Gabumon. This Gabumon lets you trash the Digivolution source on one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon whenever attacking. So again, this kind of works with the Gomamon whenever you're swinging with your Ulforce. Maybe if you have a Gomamon underneath one of your other Digimon, you get to, detach a material from something on your opponent's side of the field and then gain a memory off of the Gomamon. So just 2 copies of him. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Vmon. This Vmon has the inherited effect, where whenever this Digimon becomes unsuspended during the main phase, you get to draw 1. So that happens all the time with your Ulforce, because the whole goal of him is to unsuspend him during the main phase and attack multiple times. So this guy just lets you, again, cycle through your deck. But I didn't want to play too many copies of these inherited effect Digimon, because, well, I mean, I am, but, these guys are all 3 costs. So that's the unfortunate thing. I'm only playing 2 copies of the 2-drop Gomamon. I just couldn't really find room. I still wanted to keep this at a 14 rookie count. You could maybe drop Gabumon, but I would not recommend doing that, because, the +1 is definitely worth the extra memory. But this was my list, and it worked out for me. I probably wouldn't change this. So that is it for the rookies. Moving on to the champions, I am playing 4 copies of Grizzlymon. Now, this might seem a little bit weird, especially because Ulforce is a very aggressive deck. You kind of don't care about blocking that much, but I still felt it was necessary to play Grizzlymon. At some capacity, I did end up playing 4 of him, because you still don't want to lose to your opponents. Maybe if your opponent's playing Ulforce or Imperial Dramon, and Rookie Rush is still a deck. So I still think this card is definitely worth playing, even though it is, maybe not the best in terms of your aggressive strategies, but definitely worth mentioning. And then I'm also playing 4 copies of BT3 Angemon. Now this is a little bit of the wild card. This guy has the effect where whenever, the inherited effect is whenever you are attacking, you get to trash the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, like their source, trash the bottom source of one of your opponent's Digimon. That's not once per turn, so you can activate this multiple times with Ulforce, which is like the crazy part, right? And then also, he is only a 4-cost champion. That did come up quite a bit, or maybe I started my turn with 3, I was able to play this, lock my opponent to 1 memory, and just sometimes when you don't end up drawing your rookies, this guy can act like, your 4 other rookies, because he is such a low cost. Now, he is only 3000 DP, so that is something to keep in mind if you're playing against maybe a Shine Greymon deck, or any sort of like DP reduction strategy. But yeah, I really do like Angemon, especially pair him with something like Gomamon, because if you have both of those guys on an Ulforce, that is a very, very powerful combo. Okay, and then now for the actual Veedramons, I'm playing 2 copies of Veedramon 0 and 1 copy of Veedramon. This is a secret rare Veedramon. So Veedramon 0 is great because you can beef him up to 7,000, which is pretty sweet for a champion, being able to like get over blockers and stuff like that. But then his inherited effect, again, is not once per turn, just like Angemon. So being able to swing multiple times with Ulforce Getting these effects multiple times, recycling 3 cards and drawing 1, just drawing every single time you attack is really, really good. Not to mention he is searchable by arena. And then this guy, the Secret of Veedramon, actually came up quite a bit. He is a 3 evolution cost. He has the effect where once per turn, if you are attacking and you control a blue tamer, you can unsuspend him. So this guy has the potential to attack twice, and he did put a lot of pressure on my opponents whenever I ended up playing him. And then he has the inherited effect where if you have a blue tamer, you get 1,000 during both players' turn, which is pretty cool. Boosts Ulforce to 12k even during your opponent's turn, which is nice. But yeah, just the prospect that he can attack 2 times, and then if you have arena or a tie, you can boost him like 7,000-8,000, and it's pretty strong for a champion. The only downside is he is a 3 to evolve, but I still think he is worth playing just as like a one-off. He came in clutch today. He was very good. Okay, so that is it for the champions. Now for the ultimates, I'm again playing a very weird lineup. I am playing 3 copies of OFFICAL. So OFFICAL is a very interesting card. Of course, he is searchable by arena, and he has a whole strategy with that. But then he also has the ability to unsuspend himself or just any Digimon you have on your side of the field, as long as you have a blue tamer in play, which you pretty much always do. I'm playing lots of tamers in this deck, so that is very good, being able to maybe attack over an opponent's smaller Digimon and then unsuspend him, being able to save himself from their maybe other big Digimon. And then the best part about him is his inherited effect, where if your Digimon becomes unsuspended during the main phase, you get to give them jamming. That came up so many times in tournament. Ceresmon's 12,000, and Shine Greymon's 11,000, Blitz Greymon's 12, not to mention all the Omnimons running around. So being able to attack security without fear of dying, and that's the worst part, is UlforceVeedramon, while he can attack multiple times, he is only 11,000 DP. So being able to run into your opponent's security with jamming and just knowing that he's not going to die is super, super powerful. Now going forward, I would like to play 4 of this. I probably would, but I don't know what I would cut. Maybe you guys can give me suggestions. I'm also playing 2 copies of Starter Deck WereGarurumon and 2 copies of Zudomon. Both of these guys were good. I would probably still play the same ultimate lineup. Like, I probably wouldn't change anything. WereGarurumon being able to give your All-Force security attack +1 and swinging multiple times is just crazy. There was one game where I literally swung for 5 security in one turn because All-Force plus this is just crazy. Okay, and then Zudomon is just another way to, first of all, he can unbreak your hand but just by playing him, but he's another way to just gain memory while swinging with All-Force, because whenever your opponent doesn't have has a Digimon without materials, you get to just gain 1. So, and that's also not once per turn. So it might be weird. You might be asking, oh, Donkey Nog, why aren't you playing any Monzaimon or Bastimon, and you weren't playing any Gorillamon? Well, that is very true. I'm not playing any of the 1-cost evolution champions. I'm not playing any of the 2-cost ultimates, because these guys just give you so much value. They're just so powerful, and OFFICAL is just such a versatile card. If I was to cut anything, I might cut 1 Zudomon and put in a 4th copy of this, because as good as this is, this deck is like low-key countered by Terriermon and the Memory Chokers. Like, they can be kind of a thorn in your side. So, but I still do think he was really good, especially because you can play him and unbreak your hand and then go All-Force straight on top of him. All-Force doesn't need a lot of materials to, be good, but it is nice when you have them. So that was the ultimate lineup. That's my thoughts on that. So then for the Megas, just playing 4 copies of UlforceVeedramon. Just straight and simple, straight to the point. I was testing out playing other guys like Metal Garurumon and Leopardmon, but ultimately this guy is the only one I ever wanted to see in my hand. So that's just what I ended up doing. So UlforceVeedramon, just an extremely powerful card. During your turn, if a blue tamer becomes suspended, you get to unsuspend him, and then anytime he's unsuspended, or I guess the first time, just once per turn, you get to just gain a memory. So that's super powerful, being able to attack potentially, like, the most I got in one turn was like 4 times. Like, basically you get to attack once with him, and then +1 for every single blue tamer you have. And then maybe if you have an OFFICAL as well, you can unsuspend him. And this guy is just an absolute monster. And like I said, the only really bad thing about him is that he is 11,000 DP, but you can get around that with things like OFFICAL, as well as Tai and Rina just being able to boost his attack through other means. So UlforceVeedramon, just a very, very powerful card, and the heart and soul of the deck, of course. And then the spice, now here comes the spice, is I was just playing one copy of Omnimon. Omnimon is, of course, a very, very powerful card, and I only have one, so that's why I'm playing one. If I did have another, I don't know if I'd play two. I think one was fine. One was just, like, I saw it just enough. There were, like, every time I saw it and resolved it, it was great. It was only in security, like, once or twice. I feel like if I played any more of this, it would just break, and I don't want to mess with the ratios of my other Digimon, because I think it is at a point where I really like it. And Omnimon, just being able to go Omnimon after you swung like 3 or 4 times with All Force is super crazy. And then, of course, Omnimon himself can attack twice, and then maybe if you have the OFFICAL, he gets jamming from the OFFICAL or security attack +1 from the Garurumon, and then just being able to recycle the All Force and then add it back to your hand is just super, super powerful. So one copy of Omnimon worked wonders. And then for the Tamers, I am playing 4 copies of Tai Kamiya. Tai is super, super good, and I would definitely still just keep this lineup. So four copies was good because, of course, he's the cheapest. He's only a 2 to play. And being able to, a lot of people don't know, Tai is a second effect. A lot of people just activate him, suspend him to draw 1 card, but he can actually give your Digimon +1000. So that is super, super powerful, being able to attack over your opponent's Digimon. Maybe if they have like a Seriesmon or a Mastamon that's suspended or something, Tai is just very, very powerful. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Shinomiya Rina. Rina was really good, because you get to play her and get a +1. Well, that's the idea, right? Actually, I kind of fizzled on that a little bit. Basically, when you play her, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then add a V Digimon from those revealed cards to your hand, and that could be Vmon, Veedramon, OFFICAL, or All Force himself. So it's really good. I think I like this lineup. What I might do is I might cut 1 copy of Joe. I'm playing 2 copies of Joe Keto. I might play 3 of this and 1 of Joe. Joe is still super, super good. Now, this is kind of the weird card. This is the spice right here. Rina, of course, being able to give you the +1000 as well as the +1 when she's played is very good. But Joe also, when he's a blue tamer that can suspend himself, because whenever you end up trashing a Digivolution card on one of your opponent's Digimon, you get to suspend him and gain a memory. So that works very well with Angemon, with your Gabumon, and then you get to suspend him, gain a memory. All Force becomes unsuspended, gains memory from his effect. So you've just gone +2 memory off of that 1 interaction, and then your All Force is unsuspended. So this plus, and then if you have a Gomamon, that's another memory. And then if you have a Zudomon, that's potentially +4 memory in just like 1 interaction. So that was kind of the goal. And anytime I resolved Joe, it was just super good, and people weren't expecting it. And it's just another tamer that's really good. So I like this lineup. I really did, and I would recommend you guys test it out if you do own All Force. But I kind of missed like 2 Rina felt like not enough sometimes, so I might like cut 1 of this, just play 1 Joe. But I still think Joe is definitely worth playing. You know, underdog tamer right here. And then the last cards I am playing is, of course, just 4 copies of Hammerspark. Now, this might be very weird to you guys. I'm not playing any memory tamers. No, I'm not playing Matt. I'm not playing Davis. I'm not playing any other memory tamers, and that is purely because of space reasons. Originally, I was not playing Joe, and this was more of a standard All Force list, and I was playing 2 copies of Davis. And Davis is good because he's a +1, but Davis is bad because you can't suspend him. Matt is good because he is a tamer he's a memory tamer that you can suspend. So it was between those or Joe's. Now I'm playing 4 copies of Hammerspark. I'm playing Joe, and then the Gomamon and the Gabumon and Angemon interactions, and as well as Zudomon. You're gaining so many memory, so much memory from those cards that you honestly don't even need a memory tamer. Like, it would have been really nice. I think like playing a couple copies of like a memory tamer would be really good, but you definitely don't need it because there's so many other ways to gain memory. Now, again, this is a hard counter by Terriermon and the other memory chokers, but if so maybe it's not the best choice, but I was able to. I mean, I faced the Seriesmon green. I still played through the Seriesmon and Seriesmon as well as a Terriermon, so I was able to push through and do well with this deck. So it's just a fun variant. Like, I think this variant of All Force is still very powerful, and I think if you put in the memory tamers, maybe like cut a couple hammer sparks and then put in 2 copies of Davis or 2 copies of Matt, then I think you'd have still a really good deck. This is just my personal preference. I really don't think you need the memory tamers with all the memory gaining I'm doing. And yeah, so that's going to be the deck. That is a lot of tamers, but yep, no memory tamers, and then 4 copies of hammer spark. So then the only other cards I'm playing for the Digiegs, I'm playing a very weird like variety. I'm playing 2 copies of this Demi-Vmon, which gives your when your Digimon has jamming, you get to draw 1 card, and this Demi-Vmon, where if your Digimon becomes unsuspended, you get plus 1,000. And then I'm also playing this Tsunamon as a starter deck guy that no one plays, where if you're attacking a Digimon without sources, you get to gain 1,000. This card's garbage. I thought it might be useful in some situations. No, don't play this. So what I would do is play 4 copies of this and 1 copy of this going forward. This is the only thing in my deck I would probably change. I wanted to play this because you can get jamming on your All-Force with the OFFICAL. So that does come up, and I was able to draw with this. But this comes up just way more. Being able to gain 1,000 is just really good. Being able to attack security, put All-Force at like 13, so you don't have to worry about a Series Mon or like a Blitzgraymon or something in security. And then being able to attack over those same Digimon is just very, very good. So I think the plus 1,000 Demi-Vmon is a little bit underrated. So yeah, I'd probably switch up, like take this guy out, play 1 copy of this and like 4 of this is what I would recommend to you guys. But again, that's just my preference. So guys, that is going to be the deck profile. If you did enjoy, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions or other decks you'd like to see, go ahead and let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.